Hello, what it is, what is up? I know it's been a minute, it's been a while. Where have I been? Most importantly, what have I been reading? Let's get into it. Okay, I know it's been, I'm moving. That's it. And I don't think anything I've read has like moved me to the point where I felt like I have a lot to share in a singular video. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna call this video. Where have I been? Wrap up. But the one physical book that I currently have 3 books out from the library, and I'm trying to finish it before I move. So I can return it back to the library. And the one book I have is The Three of Us by, is it Ore Agbaje Williams? I think it's Ore Agbaje Williams. Yeah, it's The Three of Us. Will it focus? I actually really love this cover. It's very like simple, but I love the pinkish blush color. Like that's my new favorite color these days. Anyway, The Three of Us is like this really short novel. It almost gives me like let me give the general synopsis. So the book follows this married couple and the wife's friend named Temmie. We don't know the married couple's name. So the husband does not like Temmie. Like, yeah, the husband and the friend and the wife's friend do not like each other. And the book is written in like 3 acts. So the first act is the wife's perspective. The second act is the husband's perspective. And the third act is Temmie's perspective. And this is definitely a book that I had to sit on. Because when I got to the end, I asked myself, what was I supposed to get? Like, I didn't get what I was supposed to get at the end. I just kind of was left like, I don't know. I didn't have anything profound in my head. Like, I felt like it was a profound point at the end. I didn't get it. But yeah, and also the structure of the story is actually quite interesting. Like, it's just kind of written, if y'all can't see the writing, but it's just kind of like just a long, like, just paragraphs, nothing to distinguish what is being spoken and what is being thought. Yeah, and honestly, I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like the husband. I didn't like the wife. I didn't like Temmie. I felt like the wife was riding the fence of like their hatred for one another, and she was like, I don't want to pick a side, but then also it's like, girl, I think you can be on both people's side but still be all like, hey, in this respective space, I have to respect my husband. In this respected space, I'm going to respect my friend. Like, you know, like, can we pick and choose battles? Do we have to straddle the fence like all the time? And then there was this whole conversation about kids, and yeah, I have to think about this one. I feel like if I got it, I would love it more, but it was kind of like it's like a 3 for me. I don't know if I read it again. Like, I didn't finish the book and feel like, ooh, yes, this was great. So yeah, that's it. So, okay, I think I'll go into audiobooks because I listen to a lot of audiobooks in the past 2 months. Let me start off with the biographies that I listened to in audiobook form. The first one I listened to was, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. And this came out like in 2020, and I wasn't in the booktube space when this came out, but I know a lot of people really love the audiobook, and I remember watching videos and telling myself, I really want to listen to the audiobook because, one, I love Mariah Carey. Like, I am touching lamb status. So, and a lot of people said it was just an overall really good audiobook because like it's Mariah narrating and she sings her songs, and she really, in her story shows how the lyrics in her songs really connect to her life. And it brings like, I guess, new meaning to her music. So yeah, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this Audible. I love that Mariah narrated it. And it did make me want to go back and listen to Mariah Carey songs when she was singing them. There were some interesting things that I didn't know. I think the most interesting parts was like the early, like before Glitter. I think before Glitter, like that early part of her career, was really interesting. Her talking about her relationship, even though she's kind of talked about her relationship with Tommy Mottola, who I didn't know was married to the Mexican pop singer. What is her name? Is it Talia? Now, I have to check. But I didn't know, I didn't know that he remarried and he's remarried to, Talia. And they're still married. They've been married since like 2000. So one, I didn't know that. I didn't know that Mariah also had a relationship with Derek Jeter for a little bit, like a little, like, I guess a fling. So that was interesting. And a lot of my favorite songs by Mariah were inspired by Derek Jeter. I just, who would have thought? Like, who would have thought? Yeah. So that was actually a really interesting read. The pacing of it, like, I felt like there were some things I wish she like gave more time to that she didn't. Yeah, I just felt like, especially when we got towards the end, it was just kind of like, I understand why she didn't really go into a relationship with Nick, because it was like, you know, they have kids together and all that. And she said she finished this book in 2020. Yeah. Because also we didn't get into her marrying that millionaire man. I mean, it's none of our business. And she touches on her relationship with the dancer, but like, I believe they're together now. But yeah, she touches on like when he first like joins, you know, her team, but we don't really, she never really comes back to that. And yeah, I just felt like there was a lot that wasn't touched on. Like, we spent so much time on certain aspects of her life that I felt like I could do without this information. But anyway, but either way, I would still give this like a solid 4.5, 4. I had a good time with it. The next audiobook that I listened to was A Sick Life by T-boz. And if you guys aren't aware, TLC came out with a documentary, I believe on Lifetime. And I was watching a video reaction on Michael Calvin's channel. He also has a book club. But he was talking about how A Sick Life, the book that T-boz did, was so much better than the documentary. And if you're already familiar with, because, you know, TLC has had a movie on VH1 that was really good. They've had an MTV behind the scenes. If y'all remember when MTV used to have like the little behind the music shows, they've had that. But I feel like we know so much about TLC up to, you know, when T-boz passes away. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure T-boz and Shelly have both had reality shows together as well as separately. So especially if you're a fan of TLC, you know a lot about their life and the struggles that they've been through. So when he said that A Sick Life was really good, and it came out a minute ago, it came out like I think in 2017, I decided to give it a listen because also T-boz narrated it, and it was such a good. I think this narration was better than Mariah Carey's. Was very enjoyable, but like, T-boz is such like a funny and charismatic storyteller, and it really comes across in the audiobook. And she does like a really great impressions of people. Like, her impression of Left Eye is so funny, and your laugh, and she has these crazy stories. And I mean, not now, but definitely like in the past of TLC, especially when Left Eye was still here. T-boz was definitely like, had that character of like, I think TLC period of like, we don't take no ish. So it was funny. It wasn't funny, but it was interesting hearing her stories and how like after having a child, it really like calmed her. It really like brought new perspective of like, she used to go from 0 to 100 real quick. And T-boz was kind of known for like, yeah, like saying what it was. And she still says what she feels and doesn't hold any bars. But but TLC definitely, especially during the time that they were having troubles with their money, and, you know, was it the Grammys that they went on and they're all like, we broke, we don't got no money. They're just known for just being very honest. And I think that's why they had such a good relationship with their fan base, because we really felt like that they were showing their authentic selves to their audience. It wasn't like a front. It felt very unique into them. Yeah, so her audiobook was so good. Her early life, there was a lot that we didn't know. She really goes into her relationship that she had with what's his name from Jodeci, but she was with one of the members of Jodeci for a minute, and then she talks about her, like, her marriage after that. Like, she just talks about, there was just really funny stories, like with how Left Eye ended up as, I didn't know the story about how Left Eye like got the little line under her eye. That was a funny story that involved one of Bobby Brown's dancers. It's just, yeah, there's just really good stories in there that, like, we don't really hear. While also, like, touching on, you know, it was good pacing. It was good, like, she touched on all the stories that, and gave, like, her perspective on stories that as fans we already know, but, like, kind of coming from her mind and how things ended up where they ended up. And yeah, her feelings. The real funny one, and she actually, there's a video clip, maybe I'll insert the video clip, is the story she tells about Whitney Houston at Left Eye's funeral. So let's get into my urban fic bag. I listen to a lot of urban fic. A lot. I listened to Single Black Female by Tracy Brown. And I've never listened to a Tracy Brown book before. I have passed, like, Tracy Brown literature that I thought about reading. But anyway, Single Black Female follows a group of friends. This is the best. It's very hard to describe, but it follows a group of friends. 4 different characters who are going on 4 significant, you know, journeys, but are connected together because 2 men, Mikey and Rashid, are sentenced to life or 16 years in prison for killing another, like, street guy. And pretty much the 4 friends are connected together because, like, one is the sister of Mikey, another is the, like, baby mother. 2 of them are the baby mothers of Rashid and Mikey, and then one is the sister of the baby mother of Rashid. So yeah, and then it follows their children. It just follows. It's more, yeah, it's like an ensemble story. And the first half of the book follows that, and then the second half of the book, something tragic happens to Mikey's son, youngest son, and yeah, it was just, the pacing of this book was off. And the beginning of the book you think is one thing, and then I didn't read the summary, and the end of the book, which is actually in the summary, the youngest son, King, he ends up getting, like, racially, he's trying to check the engine on his car that broke down, and a older white man in the neighborhood decides to play neighborhood watch and be all like, I know, like, you're trying to break into this car, and he was like, I own this car, and then he shoots him, and it's like this whole police brutality, racial injustice story in, like, the very last act of the book. The pacing was just off. The narration was good on this one, which is probably why it kept me for as long as it did. But this was just, like, a story that I think had potential. It's just the pacing of the story was off. If it was gonna be what it was at the end, it should have just been like that from the beginning. And it was so many perspectives, and some of them just were touched on and weren't fully, like, developed in my head. I was just like, y'all could have left it out. And then there was just some story inconsistencies that I was just all like, I'm pretty sure I didn't say that in the beginning, but now you're saying this now. Anyway, it wasn't my favorite. And then when I read comments, a lot of people agree that out of all of Tracy Brown's work, Single Black Female isn't her best. And a lot of people recommended White Lines. But the point I'm getting to is the next book I listened to was White Lines by Tracy Brown. And this one, this one follows a girl named Jada, who just has a really tragic life. Like, her mom is like the epitome of a pick-me, like, in the most tragic ways possible. And she she pretty much like ends up running or away from, not really running away from home, but just, you know, being raised by the streets, and she ends up being addicted to crack and prostituting herself. But in that, you know, like she ends up meeting this guy named Bourne, who is also a street dude. Yeah, the book came out in 2007, who's also a street dude. They fall in love, and it's just like this tragic urban hood love story. Like, it's just so much happens. So much happens, but also I feel like nothing really happens at all, because I feel like it's like the same repetitive thing keeps happening over and over again. I feel really bad for Jada when I'm reading this book, because I'm just all like, damn, she was really just set up to fail, and you want her to get it together. But on the other hand, she has her sister Ava, who like maybe the best thing that happened to her is her end up being sent to this group home, because from there, like, she ends up seeing how her sister is kind of like flailing in life, and decides that she doesn't want to be like her, and like goes on the straight and narrow. But White Lines was entirely way too long. It's like 500 pages. I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook felt never ending, and the narrator is not good. Sorry, she's not good, because she has it's very like distinctly set in New York, and they make it very clear that Jada comes up in a Brooklyn project. So I'm imagining she has a very like distinct Brooklyn accent, and they make it very clear that that Bourne is, you know, comes from the streets of Staten Island. So I'm assuming that he would have a very distinct Staten Island accents just reserved for the white people of Staten Island. But I would imagine that they both have very distinct New York accents. And the narrator just gives them all like this country accent, which I'm assuming the narrator is maybe somewhere from the South. We'll never know. But yeah, everybody has this country accent, and I'm just all like, baby, they are from New York. They're not only are they from New York, they're from the streets of New York. So it's like, I'm pretty sure they have a very distinct accent from the boroughs that they come from. Yeah, and I just didn't, it was really hard to continue with the accent, especially I can't hear Bourne, because Bourne sounds like he's from North Carolina. It wasn't working. So yeah, and it was just too long. It was too long. Maybe if I read it, I would have enjoyed this book more. But I really love a good urban novel while I'm driving because of the drama. Because of the drama. It's because of the drama. It keeps me like engaged to the foolishness, even if I thoroughly do not agree with the decisions that are being made. I might try another Tracy Brown. White Lines, I don't think it was it. We'll see. I think this is my last. Yeah. The last book that I listened to was Confessions of a Hustler. The Confessions of a Hustler's Housekeeper. I listened to 1, 2, and 3. Why? I don't know. This book was a mess. This book is not good, guys. It's definitely like something that you just want to listen to pass by the time and the dramatics of it all. But it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. The writing isn't good. The narrators really did that. Yeah. But also I felt like the narrator was shouting at me the whole time, and I don't know why I kept listening, because I'm just like, why are you shouting at me? Like, the book is not good. And the characters are just kind of like, for me, kind of flat. And the main guy is like this terrible person. I feel like he's a terrible person. I don't know why she wants to be with this man. It's a Tubi mess. It's a Tubi mess. And if you guys watch Tubi to pass the time, you'll be like me, and you'll be entertained by this book enough to listen to 3 parts. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And this is where I've been. This is what I've been listening to. Just memoirs, autobiographies, and urban novels to get me through my packing and my side hustle for the move. So yeah, let me know what you guys have been listening to these past 2 months, books that you would recommend. I'm currently reading, I'm looking behind me, The God of Good Looks. I wanted to read it for Curbathon. It's actually really good. It's really good. I'm actually really enjoying it. And I definitely went in blind. And then I'm still reading The Makings of Yolanda La Bruja. I'm pushing through, girl. And the book is not even that long. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And I think it's not long in terms of like, it's not outside, a normal, it's not like 500 pages plus. Like, it's within a normal reading of what I could read within like a week. But it's just a lot happening in the book. It's too much. And I was like, this book should have ended like 100 pages ago. So I'm struggling through it. That's all I'm saying. This is my short review why I'm struggling through this book. But I want to finish it. So yeah, trying to finish that. So yeah, until next time, guys. Next time you see me, I'll be in a new setup. So it might be a little bit until I post again. But I'm glad that you all have stuck with me. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. And until the next video, guys, deuces.